In this episode of the AWS Developers Podcast, we're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion with Darya Petrashka. Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for downloading the AWS Developers Podcast. We're available in all good podcast applications, Spotify, Deezer, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, you name it. If it's a good podcast application, you will find the AWS Developers Podcast. And today we're going to talk about tech a bit, but about career development, career switching, learning, and try to be a source of inspiration for other people, other women that are listening to us, because I have the pleasure to welcome Darya Petrashka, your data scientist for a company in Poland, in SLB. I met you through a blog post on community.aws that you wrote that says, the title was, tell me if I'm correct, From Mom at Home to Data Scientist. So where are you from? How did you start your career in IT? Long story.
The title is correct. From mom at home, from sitting at home mom to data scientist. And first of all, thanks for having me today.
You're welcome.
It's a great pleasure to be here. So maybe I will start from my background and how did I end up being data scientist.
You were born in an Eastern European country.
Yes, I am from Belarus.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and when I tried to, like, after my high school, I tried to figure out what I'm going to do in my life. I decided, okay, I love traveling and I don't really like maybe physics, so I'm not going to do like computer science. I will probably go to management and travel and hospitality. So I did my studies, bachelor studies, and then I started a career in a company that did at that time like a translation agency. And then I kind of hit a ceiling and it just got boring for me, and I realized that I had no place to grow, and actually it was a long process for me. It took a while to rethink about my life. At that time, I also started to have a family. I'm married. I had like 2 kids. Now they are 8 years old and 5 years old.
Congrats.
2 daughters. Thank you. And I just was thinking, okay, what do I like do in my life? At that time, I liked studying foreign languages. I studied a little bit of French, Italian, also like Mandarin Chinese.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I was very interested in different like languages as systems. And I realized, okay, I love language as a system to kind of find the logical patterns inside that system and compare them between. And I actually started to dig deeper. What does it mean to have a system, to work with something like a system? And I realized that there is actually a whole area that doing that studies. It's called natural language processing. So we're combining like languages and we're combining kind of math, logic,
Computing.
Yeah, computing. We're trying to figure it out, yes. And that's how I learned about NLP, natural language processing, and that's how I learned that actually NLP is a subset of a data science. Wow, and that like opened up a whole new world to me. Yeah, because that time I was sitting in a like small town in Belarus, and I had no friends with similar interests. And when I tried to share, I want to learn data scientist, and I didn't feel that someone understand me.
So you had no role model to follow or example that you can follow.
Yes, exactly, because my path is not typical. Yeah, and people that were doing like software engineering type of career that time. First of all, they were mostly men, and second, they were already graduated from a computer
Yeah,
science.
so they took a very linear path. You take a class of computer science at university, and then you start to work in IT.
Exactly, exactly. And that's why I was struggling. Am I good enough? Can I do it or not? So my husband supported me because he's a very kind person. He always told me that you can do it. And I was just, I decided, okay, I will try. And there were actually like funny story because I decided, okay, there is one course in Udemy called From Zero to Hero, like data science.
In 100 days or
Yeah,
something like
like
that.
30 hours of video. And I decided, okay, I will take this course and then I become a data scientist. But actually, it's more complicated.
Yeah, but that's a good starting point. And so that's how you did it. You start to learn by yourself, following online course. You mentioned Udemy, there are other Cloud Academy and others.
Yes, exactly. So I started to search for some online resources, and because I was like broke, I had no money, I had no like full-time
At the
job.
time, you were not working. You were.
Yes.
Oh,
I was sitting at home with my kids, so I was like actually full employed but not
yes, of
paid.
course. Yeah, and not paid. And you have only like 2 hours per day while they are making the nap in the afternoon to do something for you.
Yeah, maybe less because you know it's kind of complicated when you're responsible for kids and also for
Household.
housekeeping. Yeah. So I tried to find some courses. I tried to watch some videos, read some books. So anything like that was available online but wasn't so like expensive.
Yeah, free
Yeah,
online training
like
or cheap.
free or like $5 per
Yeah.
course, $10.
But you already had an appetite for maths, logic. That's something that you feel comfortable with. Maybe when you were at high school already, you were good at math, or it's something that came after.
I actually liked math, and maybe one particular reason why I didn't do a computer science degree is because that time the physics was required, and I didn't
It's
really
the physics
like
part that
it.
you don't like.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
It's
Yeah.
not required for computer science. A bit of
Yeah,
logic.
actually, it's not required, but it was required to enter the university. It's kind of weird, right? So, so I just, I had some like basic knowledge of maths, and actually, I also did a like high schooler maths at my university because it was related to economics. So I had kind of basics, but I also had to refresh this and to take it to maybe the next level, and not particular to the next level, but also to discover how it can be applied in machine learning and statistics. Because when you're just solving math problems with no real world applications, you feel good that you solved the problem, but you don't see this link. So
you start to follow this course on Udemy. How do you feel? Was it easy, hard? Did you manage to get help if you need help?
Actually, I feel that course was too much because it was, like everything and nothing, because it aimed to cover like the whole.
It's very broad.
Yeah, very broad. So I had a first impression and maybe some technical details. I couldn't grasp them at first. But here I need to have a side note, because if you start learning something and you feel like overwhelmed, it's okay. Just keep going.
Yeah, if it is too easy, you're not learning. So you have to put the bar high.
Yeah, because the way how we are learning, it's like a mind map. So we are building on top of different
Layers and
layers. Yeah, it's not linear. I learned this and then that and then that. It is growing to different directions. So yeah, and I also found like different other courses, and I tried to. Yeah, I just I just decided to try as much as I can, and then decide what should be like the best way. And then I landed an internship in a company called EPAM. Yeah, and they were like a cohort-based learning. They were doing cohort-based learning, and
So that's how you get your feet into the corporate world through that internship.
That's how.
Corporate IT, because you worked before, obviously.
Yeah, that's how I learned a lot of more technical details. Actually, they did very, very great education on SQL. Yeah, I solved so many SQL tasks there, and I liked it a lot. And also they kind of motivated because they had like weekly Q&A sessions, they had homework. So my learning started to be more organized, and I just tried to allocate some time during the day so I can go through theory, watch some videos, solve some problems, and then attend these Q&A sessions. And I tried to ask as many questions as I could, because it was online learning. It was 2020, and
it was during the pandemic.
yes, that's why it was online. It was great, because otherwise I had to maybe move to other city in that time. So I were comfortable to sit at home and to do this learning.
You took other training after that, online training after that, after Udemy?
Yes. I took also I believe Coursera courses. Also there were data camp courses. I actually like that kind of problem oriented. So there is like a task in a Python and you need to solve it, and there is a environment where you can run and see how does it go. Yeah.
How did you get your first job in the field?
It was complicated.
I can imagine that.
Yes, it was complicated because I was applying to different companies. At that time, it was very hard to figure it out, because there are different kind of careers and different kind of companies, and the job is very different if we compare a startup and a big corporation. Yeah, it's like two different worlds. And I didn't know that at that time, and I tried to apply it everywhere, just everywhere. And of course, I was getting refused, you're not getting this position. And I was stressed, of course, and worried. Am I good enough?
Yeah, at the end you start to question yourself after many rejections. What am I doing wrong? What should I do differently?
Yes. My husband supported me a lot, because it was just a process. And actually, it was a sign that I was doing it right, because I could spend 5 years studying and then go easy through all these interviews and get all these jobs. But that's not the point.
No.
I didn't want to wait so long. I wanted to get a job finally and start getting paid, right?
So you were applying in the country, or you were applying to companies in other countries as well?
I was applying that time. I already lived in Ukraine.
Also, you moved from Belarus to Ukraine?
Yeah, I moved from Belarus to Ukraine, and I tried to find remote opportunities, office-based opportunities, any kind of opportunities.
Ukraine is a large IT place. There are a lot of Ukrainian companies offering services for other companies. There is a pool of talent as well. They have good university. So you are also competing with many other locales.
Yes, exactly. So I will just, okay, let's do it. And I was learning from the interviews. Yeah, because each time I failed interview, I tried to go back and think what was the reason, what kind of company it was.
What is the gap?
What is the gap? What kind of workloads they were doing? Also, I tried to reflect on the how how was it interesting for me and aligned to my maybe end goals. Because from some point I started to realize that maybe companies that not those are not doing machine learning, they're not so interesting. For me, I wanted to do more like machine learning, and it just I think it was a like two-way process. Companies interviewed me, but I also tried to understand how comfortable I would be with the company. So
Yeah, it's two things. An interview, you're right. You are selling yourself as a candidate, but the enterprise has to sell themselves as well. Say, hey, this is a nice place to work. You will be happy here.
yeah, and actually at that time I was starting to post, like occasionally post something on LinkedIn, because I decided, why not? I need to speak up and show that I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to switch into tech. And actually, my former core colonial co-student, a female who was studying with me at the same university, same major, she saw that, and she kind of said to me, like she texted me that company that she was employed to that time, they were looking for and doing the whole new data and analytics department.
So you applied?
Yeah, and I applied.
And you got the job?
Yeah.
So that was your first job as a data scientist
Yes.
in IT? It was in Ukraine?
I was based in Ukraine that time. Company were doing like offices in Belarus, in Ukraine, and in a couple of different countries. And it was remote for me. And it was a great place to learn, because company were doing outsource kind of workloads. They were serving multiple customers. And it is, when you are working for a customer like AWS, you need to be customer obsessed. Yeah, you need to think about customer. You need to keep the bar high. And it was challenging for me, but it was very beneficial in terms of growth to learn how to, like, not just to make code work, but how to make it up to standards, how to format it, how to make sure that everything is
Perfect, or as perfect as it can be.
yeah, everything is understandable. There are like no hard code. There are like doc strings everywhere. So yeah, it's not the first thing you're thinking when you are learning, but you're starting to pay attention to such important things when you are already employed to a company. And yeah, my coworkers were super friendly, and they were trying to help me with different kind of questions.
Did you identify someone as a mentor that can guide you, show you the way? I often have this conversation with people that change career like you, and that's a team that is coming again and again and again to grow you up, to go above the ceiling, as you said, and sometimes a mentor help. Did you have the chance to meet or to identify one?
It's such a great question, because I feel that I'm kind of surrounded by mentors, because every person can be a mentor at some point. Yeah, I had a mentor in the terms of my like Python related workloads, and I also had a mentor who was like he was a head of our department. He was mentoring me more on a career side, how to do things, how to behave with customer, and this is very important. And I also try to find some like outside company mentors, just to see different paths and different journeys. And I don't remember exactly the name of the free mentoring platform, but I tried to reach out to especially women, because I was interested. So to see their stories, for example, how did they land job at like top tech companies? And it wasn't like a long last relationship, more like occasional, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot about how to progress, how to advocate for yourself, mm, how to decide on a company.
How did you get your hands into the cloud?
Yeah, that's a very great question because this first company that I were employed to, they had a project on AWS, and this project was like I was involved as a data scientist, but they had all the clients' infrastructure on AWS. So I had to learn about Lambda, about S3.
That's another layer. You talked about layer earlier, about all the things you have to learn on top of each other. And yeah, it's a new universe now.
Yeah, it's actually a big new universe because it's, I don't know what would be like a real world analogy. It's like transforming from a caterpillar to a butterfly.
Love it.
It's okay. I can run some code in my Jupyter notebook, but it's like a whole gap how to make this code actually work in production when you have a model deployed somewhere. So I had to learn about AWS, about cloud in general. I had some experience with Azure, but not so much. I had like beginner level certifications.
The company support you? They pay training or they give you time to actually learn all this?
They gave me some time to learn this, and also they encouraged me to actually get AWS certified.
Also, you have some certification.
Yes.
I guess you start with the cloud practitioner. That's the first one. No, not even.
No.
You went directly to architect associate.
I started from. I guess I saw some people claimed that it is actually the hardest one. I started from machine learning specialty certification.
That was your first.
That was my first.
Wow. And you pass it.
Yes.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Deep respect.
Thank you. I was so like stressed during preparation. I prepared maybe for 3 months and a half, and I tried to do things hands-on every day to try it on my like cloud AWS account. And I tried to watch videos, to follow the exam guide. So it was very challenging. Especially, I know that I should start it from a cloud practitioner to know
A cloud practitioner, it's okay. I don't want to diminish the merits of people doing it, but it's quite easy. It's the first level of certification. Then people typically go to architect associate to understand the building blocks, EC2, S3, permissions, and then they go to specialty. But starting with a specialty, it's impressive.
Yeah, it's now because last year I passed also solution architect associate certification, and now I know that I should pass it like before my specialty certification, because that time I didn't know much about this, like you said, building blocks. What are like security requirements? What is identity access management? What is like compute? How do we do it? So I knew mostly about machine learning, about like statistics, because there are
Data
questions.
pipelines,
Yes.
so things like Glue, like Athena, SageMaker. You start from that side.
Yeah, yeah.
Which makes sense in your domain of interest, data science. Maybe you don't need to know about autoscaling to get started, or load balancers, not really related. But sometimes it's good to know the basics or the foundations before doing stuff on the top. Then you had another interesting move in your career. You switched country again, and you're now living in Poland. So why, how?
Yeah, actually I had to move because
of the war.
Because of the war. Yeah, war started in Ukraine, and I moved to Poland 2 years ago. My company supported me a lot. They provided me like a place to live for a certain time because there were a lot of people going to Poland that time. It was very challenging to find.
So you're working in Poland for the same company as the one in Ukraine, or you changed?
I changed my company. Now I work for a company called SLB. They're doing oil and gas extraction. But I'm not doing that. My data science
What
work.
is your day-to-day job?
Yeah, it's a great question. I work in a supply chain domain because the company has more than 100,000 employees, and we have a lot of
Oh.
we'll have a lot of suppliers for different kind of products, and we need to scale this. And I'm working on documents processing and documents analysis.
Still in the cloud?
Yeah, different kind of cloud.
Yeah,
Yep.
AWS, but maybe others as well. You mentioned Azure and other. That's okay. We can talk about that's real life. Our customers are not only using AWS. Large company are using multiple cloud. That's normal. You're also part of the AWS communities. You're an AWS community builder. Thank you. You're publishing blog posts on community.aws. I said that at the beginning as well. And since 2 years, you are attending the reInvent conference in Las Vegas. How did you get here? Is it your company sending you, or how? Again,
I'm very happy to attend reInvent at Las Vegas, and if I founded it myself, it wouldn't be possible for me.
no, yeah.
Yeah, and I got a chance to have a grant, All Builders Welcome Grant. This is grant that supports people who are 5 years early in their career, in their tech career, including career switches. So it's not related to a physical
To
age.
the age.
Yes.
It's how much time you spend in the IT
Yes,
and cloud
in the
business.
industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
you shouldn't be like working exactly in AWS. It's like general tech career. And there is an application, I believe it going on in summer, and you can apply.
So you need to apply. There is a form saying, hey, I would like to get a grant.
Yeah, there are a couple of questions about your motivation, about your plans, future plans, and that's it. And you then just get notified. And actually, this is a funny story because last year I was in a wait list. I received an email that thank you for your application, but you are currently in the wait list. And I didn't believe in wait list until that time because I got a grant out of the wait list. And I'm so happy. And this year I'm back as a All Builders Welcome Grant alumni advisor. So it is mentor.
You are mentoring the grantees.
Yes, I'm mentoring the grantees, and I'm so excited to see such a diversity, so many different faces, backgrounds, ethnicities, countries, women. They're just beautiful.
What's the benefit of the grant? So they pay the flight ticket, the entrance of the conference, and the hotel, at least these three?
Yes, these three, it's like a big one.
Yes,
also.
it's like $5,000-6,000 all total. The 1 week of hotel in Las Vegas, a flight from Europe or whatever part of the world, and the entrance to the conference. Yeah, it's probably more than 6,000 grand.
Yes, and also they give you like privileges to have a fast track to keynotes, and also you have a special swag, and you also have a $250 gift card you can spend here on your needs, and you have also like a credits for Uber. So you got
So
all
all your
covered.
costs are covered.
Yeah, your all costs are covered, and you just need to be here and enjoy the community, and that's beautiful.
And now you're helping other. What is your job as a mentor for the grant program?
Yeah, my job is simply to be here and to assist to their needs, to their questions. I did like a call in order to people to prepare, because if you are first time here, you don't know what to expect exactly, how to navigate through campus, how to schedule your sessions, how to like get food, like everything. Yeah, but people learn fast, and I'm happy to see that they're having great time here.
What's your advice for people that wants to change their career? I realize that the typical listeners of this podcast are already in the IT career, and they are already probably using AWS. So if you're listening this, I know you're not the direct target, but I'm sure you have a sister and a few, a cousin, a friend that can benefit from your advice.
My piece of advice would be just find your supporters, find your mentors, and also find your, like, I would say, like, advocates, people who will be your friends, maybe your family, who will be like rooting for you, and just go for it. Remember that you don't need to be perfect. You like, I'm still learning.
Of course.
I'm sure you're learning.
I'm learning every single day. I'm in this industry since 30 years, 30. And yes, we are learning every day. That's what I love in the job, by the way.
Yeah, so it is endless path. Yeah, and because you're maybe doubting yourself in the beginning, am I good enough? Just go for it. Just try to apply for some jobs. Don't wait until you learn everything. It's not possible. Don't wait until it. Just go for it.
What about the imposter syndrome? You know, that feeling that, why me? I don't belong here. I'm not good enough.
Yeah, it hits me.
Everybody.
Yeah, it's challenging. For me, what helps? I try to keep record of my achievements so far.
Written records, like?
It depends. I can take screenshots of some like achievements. Also, I have in my internal company system, we have like as profiles where we keep track of our publications, certifications, all kind of professional related achievements. And if you doubt in yourself, just take a glance. Just
at what you just achieved.
Yeah.
Look back, saying, wow, I did that and that and that.
Yeah, look back and think, like, and try to look back, and then try to look further back when you weren't there. Yeah, and try to estimate this gap. Yeah, okay, I went from nothing to have this. And that means that you can do things. You can do even better. You can go even further.
What you did in a short period of time, like a couple of years, it's quite amazing already. But what are your next challenge? I'm sure you're the type of person that is not happy with the status quo. You want to go further. So what are you looking at now?
It's I try to work in different directions because I'm trying to be like a T-shape. And one direction is to be more involved into community. I want to start hosting workshops.
User groups?
Yeah, I'm not a user group leader, but I have good friends of mine who are leaders. And I want to help them more and to run workshop there. I was a user group speaker, but like myself, I like doing things hands-on, and I want other people to have such experience. So I want to do this, and also, of course, support other women as far as I can by like sharing my journey, by meeting them, communicating, and also from personal side, yeah, just to keep building my technical knowledge.
Continue to learn.
Yeah, continue to learn, and I thinking to get involved into universities, like more an academic style of study, to get more profound basics. So just to keep going.
Keep learning.
Keep learning.
Keep learning and mentoring others. I love these two aspects. Darya Petrashka, you're data scientist at SLB in Poland. Thank you for taking the time to talk with the listeners of the AWS
Thank you so much.
Developer Podcast. I really appreciate that you came here on a Friday morning, last day of the conference. Thank you for having listened to this episode until the end. And now go build it.